Hello, thank you for tuning in, thank you for supporting the film and taking part in this web chat. My name is J Blakeson and I'm the writer and director of The Disappearance of Alice Creed, which you can see behind me, the nice poster for. And I'm here to chat and answer your questions, so if anybody's got any questions, then please do start asking them now. What is my inspiration behind the film? Well, I'd always been interested in kidnap stories because kidnaps have a very interesting power dynamic. Because it seems to me that kidnappers are kind of different from other criminals because they have to care for the people that they're perpetrating their crime against. So, you know, the victim has all their power taken away from them, which means that the kidnapper has to kind of feed them and bathe them and clothe them, and, you know, if they have to go to the toilet, help them go to the toilet. So it's kind of a very odd power dynamic. Which to me I thought was a really interesting place to start. So I started there and I just kind of ran with it. And I knew I wanted to make a very contained film because this is my first film, so I wanted to make it sort of achievable on a low budget. So I basically kept it all in an enclosed space and kept the kind of the cast down so we could make the film the way that we wanted to make it. Okay. How long was the screenplay around before we got it made into a film? Actually, it was around only for a few months. I wrote it in early 2008, and then by September, October 2008, I spoke to the company that ended up funding and making the film, Cinema and X, and it was not long at all. It was great because sometimes films, you know, it takes a long time, it takes a year sometimes, and that was just a few months, so that was great. Okay, I've got a question here from TechnoStar, and what was it like working with Gemma? It was great. Gemma's obviously she's very hot right now. She's been in Prince of Persia, and well, you'll see her coming up in Prince of Persia, but she shot that before she shot ours, and she was great to work with. She was an absolute joy, really. From the first moment she came into audition, she really blew us away. She's a really powerful actress. And fun too. You know, we had a very intense shoot, and she had some very intense scenes, and she was just brilliant in all of them. So I couldn't have asked for better than working with Gemma. Who have we got next? Where was the movie filmed? Well, the movie was all filmed in the Isle of Man. Which was great because you know, we had all of our cast and crew all staying in the same place, and in the Isle of Man we had a studio there where we shot all the interiors for about 3 weeks, and then we went out on the streets and into the countryside of the Isle of Man, and they've got some great spaces there that we could shoot in. And we shot in the Isle of Man because the film was financed by the Isle of Man Film Board and made by Cinema and X, who work with them, and it was a really fun time because, as I say, all the cast and crew all stay in the same hotels. We kind of got to know each other and work together over the weeks of the filming, so we could, you know, all bond and sort of get to know each other's way of working, which really helped with the film. What are my favourite kidnap films? Well, I don't know. I mean, there's a film that I really like called Seance on a Wet Afternoon, which has got Richard Attenborough in it, which is about a couple who kidnap a small child, which is a British film from the 1960s. And it's not a very well-known film, but again, it does something a little bit different with the kidnap genre, whereas other kidnap films kind of tend to do the same things that you expect from them. I mean, I think kind of the standard version of the kidnap film, you see kind of phone traces and people chasing down the money, and the parents kind of going a bit maverick and trying to free their own kids. And like a film like Ron Howard's Ransom, which I think is a very good version of it, but I think Seance on a Wet Afternoon is probably my favourite one. Who do you love to work with in terms of actors? Well, I've got a lot of actors who I'd like to work with. I really like Mr. George Clooney. I think he's a very good actor. And I think there's loads of very good actors. It depends on the scripts and the roles. But I think there's a really good kind of emergence of young actors working at the moment. People like Gemma herself and like Carey Mulligan and people like that who are really coming up and very exciting. So working with a mixture of established actors and younger actors to kind of really get the best performances we can. From Gem Jury, do you really consider yourself more of a director or as a writer? Well, I've been a screenwriter for a long time, and I guess people would always ask me what I did. I always used to say writer, but from working on this film especially, I've realised that directing is much more what I enjoy doing and something I think I'm actually more suited to than writing. I probably will mostly write my own scripts, but at the moment I'm reading other people's scripts to sort of in consideration of directing them as well. So I think from now on, hopefully I sort of think of myself much more as a director. This is from Emma BJ. What were your main reasons for casting Gemma? Well, the main reasons for casting Gemma is that she came in and she read for us. The casting director on the film, Lucy, she had known Gemma since Gemma was in drama school. She'd known her from RADA, and she'd cast her in Centrinians, which was Gemma's first film role. And Lucy told me from the very first moment that Gemma would be perfect for the part, and I didn't really know much about Gemma. I'd seen her in the Bond film and I'd seen her in Centrinians, which I thought she was very good in, but very different from this role. So when she came in to read for the part, she just blew us away. I mean, she was just fantastic in her audition, and from about, 30 seconds into her audition, I just knew she was perfect for the role, so that's why we chose her. Why did I decide to do the premiere comp via Facebook? Well, I think it's a great way of getting people involved in the film before it happens. I mean, hopefully, I'm a big film fan, and I grew up in Yorkshire, and it seemed a very long way away from the film industry. And if they'd had a competition like that when I was a kid, I'd have loved to have the premiere of a film come into my town. And for me, it's really exciting because it makes it different from every normal premiere you get. So it's not just kind of red carpet at Leicester Square. It's you go somewhere else where people are really excited to see your film, and it's a different kind of atmosphere, and hopefully it'll be much more fun and more rewarding than your normal standard premiere. So I guess they were the reasons we went for it. What's my favourite scene in the movie and why? That's a really hard one. I have to think about that one for a second. I think I'll have a drink of water while I think about it. I mean, I think my favourite scenes in the film probably revolve around the performances, because I was so pleased to get the actors we had in the film, and so proud of the performances they gave, and so thankful for the performances they gave, because they've really made it a compelling watch and really quite an emotional film. And there's a scene where Alice's character has to do a video for her father, and it's mostly shot in a fairly close shot of Gemma, and there's that's just Gemma acting for about 3 minutes on screen. We're not really doing much else, we're just leaving the camera on her, and also Eddie's great in that scene, but Gemma is just so powerful in that scene that for me that's one of my favourites, and everything, like the music in that scene is one of my favourite music cues by Mark, and the editing, I think all kind of comes together to make a really great scene. I also think the climax of the film, where I'm not going to say what it is because none of you have seen it, but when you get to the climax of the film, it's quite an emotional, high stakes moment, and there's a bit with Eddie's character Vic that Eddie did something on the day which I wasn't really aware he was going to do, and then when he did it, I just thought it was fantastic, and it really changed the ending and made it really work for me, and so I probably said that's one of my favourites as well. How hard is it to make a British film in 2010 and then have it distributed in the cinemas? Well, I've been trying to get my first feature made for quite a long time. Like I said, this one kind of came together quite quickly when it happened, so it didn't feel really hard. I think it's been hard before, and it's taken me 10 years to get to where I am now by getting into the industry and writing and making contacts and getting a reputation. But I think if you have a really strong script that's achievable on a budget, that makes it easier.